Hello everybody, this is SB Real Brad, and today I'll be talking about the 2013 massive hit that spawned a whole franchise, The Conjuring. The Conjuring is directed by James Wan, who is going to be in another movie review I do later this month, so you're going to have to check it out for that. Why I think this movie still works 7 years later is because of Patrick Wilson and Vera Farmiga. They are fantastic in this movie. They have such incredible chemistry together, and you can't even see these characters being replaced because they are just amazing in every scene that they're in. They are what makes the Conjuring movies so good. They are the backbone to the whole thing. Another reason why I think this movie is so good is because of the characters. It feels like the characters are very likable in this movie, as you have this big family that's just affected by this house that really does try to make good decisions, and they actually go over why they didn't just leave the house when everything was going on, and it just made a lot of sense when it's explained like that, and we understand that these characters are frightened and they're scared, and they haven't done anything wrong. There's a lot of time spent to these characters, and that's what makes this movie longer. But I'd rather have that because when things start to happen to some of the characters, you feel for them, you want them to get out, and you're a lot more on edge than you would normally be with characters that are underdeveloped or just terrible characters in general, and you're just kind of tuned out of the movie. This movie is pretty freaky. I mean, there are some very scary moments that are just super creepy and they get under my skin. It feels very, very disturbing. And James Wan is very good at that. And so I feel like that's why this movie still holds up to this day. This is definitely perfect for the Halloween time. I mean, I could watch this movie whenever, but adding that more thrills of watching this at 1 in the morning, it doesn't get better than that. James Wan does a really good job of using the amount of budget that he has to make this incredible film. We've seen it in the past before, that what he's done. And so now we're seeing that he can just do it. He is the man for the job, and that's why he's one of the best horror filmmakers that are out today. Direction in this film is really, really great. I feel as though that he's able to capture so many great shots of tension throughout that it kept me always invested. And you can tell by the way he's putting the shot selections in there that something is purposefully done and is purposely crafted to make the audience scared. He's sitting in our shoes and is trying to figure out the best ways to make us scared. I think he does a pretty good job at that. I mean, this movie isn't the most scariest movie ever, but I think as a movie, it really does affect me, considering I don't really get as scared as much. I feel more disturbed. And watching the special features after this movie definitely felt very disturbed, and I had to turn it off because of the movie that I watched prior. Some really great makeup and really cool visual effects that he uses to create these really great scares and tons of elevating action. The third act, especially in that last 30 minutes, is truly incredible. It's so exciting. It's so intense. And I felt so on the edge of my seat, and I was just ready to see what was happening next. The second act can feel a little down at times. I mean, there's times where it gets a little inconsistent. I get that's kind of what you need to go for. It definitely takes its time getting the investigating in and trying to figure out what is going on with this house. Why is this happening? And they really do a good job of the investigative stuff, where it doesn't just feel like they went on a computer and they found all the information all in one. Like, they actually had to talk to spirit, do a lot of investigating as detectives, and it made the movie a lot more fun and a lot more understanding of what they were dealing with, and not just some evil presence. And you have to understand what the villain's point of view is and how to stop it. Writing is pretty solid, as there's some jokes that I feel like definitely didn't work for me, that I feel like they should have just cut out, because the movie overall is very, very serious, and I think maybe some of the comedy that works between the two leads, but everybody else just doesn't really work. Another negative I'll have is the police officer. He doesn't really feel like he has a role in this movie. He's just kind of there to be there, but I feel like they don't really have him do much. Another big complaint I'll have is why I think this movie is just a pretty good movie is because it's very cliched. It's something that we've seen before. You know, you have the door openings, you have the floor cracking, you have someone touching their feet, you have girls that are scared in a room of all these ghosts that are just messing with them. You know, you've seen a lot of this stuff before, but sometimes it definitely feels like it's just too much of the cliche. But then there are times where they do a lot of cool and creative things that are just objects that are flying across the room. They really made that super well in this movie. Overall, if you really enjoy horror movies, if you really enjoy this time of year, you gotta check this movie out. I found it super duper enjoyable. This is definitely one of my favorite Halloween movies, even though it's not one of the best, but I still think it's a very above average movie that I think is really, really good and you gotta own. I'm gonna give this movie a 7 out of 10. Let me know, have you guys seen this movie? Have you seen any of the Conjuring movies? I'd like to know about them down below. And as always, please like and share the video. Please subscribe if you haven't already. It means the world to me that you have liked my videos. Subscribe to my channel. You guys are the best. And as always, I'll see you guys in the next video.